Good evening, everyone. My name is Jackie Hastings, and I want to thank you for your patience tonight. Zoom sometimes is not our friend. And like I was saying a couple seconds ago, it's appropriate to have a call on resilience when things aren't necessarily going the right way, right? So, one of the things that I'd like to start with is um, and he has a lot of really positive things to say about so many things in this business and life, and just so many positive things about ways to keep going and get moving and change and do things. And one of the quotes from him that I found that I like, it says, success in network marketing requires resilience, perseverance, and unwavering belief in yourself. So this isn't so much about the business, it's more about yourself and what you're willing to do, and is your why strong enough, and do you have enough belief in yourself? And if you have those things going enough, you have the ability to get through pretty near everything. You survived yesterday, you're here today, you're going to survive tomorrow if God willing you're able to, right? So resilience, what is it? Resilience is the process and outcome of successfully adapting to difficult or challenging life experiences, especially through mental, emotional, and behavioral flexibility, external and internal demands. There's a lot there, guys, a lot to unpack. So, um, we're all facing challenges in our lives. If anybody here is on the sunshine and rainbows and unicorns and all of that, I am so happy for you. But hold on to your hat and remember those great times, because you're going to need that strength for times that aren't as great, because they're going to come. It's life. It's ups and downs, it's the highs and lows, and it's how we get through them. So, these challenges can rear their heads as being too busy, having kids, having health challenges, having money issues, having not enough time, or any number of things that can seem to be holding us back from doing the work we need to do in order to be successful. The question lies with, and what are we allowing our minds to tell us about what our priorities are and what our quote unquote problems are, as well as where we are willing to look for solutions. So it's easy to place the blame elsewhere. We don't want to be responsible for the reason we're not where we want to be, or the things that are going on that maybe are not going our way. It's easy to say you couldn't work your business because you were too busy with the kids, weren't feeling well, were busy with your other job, or that your spouse wasn't supportive, when in reality, it's really you. You have the power to make the choices you're making. You chose to use your time elsewhere and not prioritize your business. How much time does it really take, especially in the early stages of your business, right? Not much. Reach out to a couple people a day, do 2 posts, follow up with your people. Maybe 30 to 60 minutes. That's a small trade for your paycheck, as well as that feeling you have accomplished in helping others. That doesn't all even have to be in one block of time. You can split that up and do a few blocks. Do it before kids get up, on your lunch break, after the kids go to bed at night, or in the bathroom. It's super funny. My family laughs at me because oftentimes I'll send messages in the bathroom. They're like, wait a minute, you use Plexus, you're regular. Why does it take you so long to go to the bathroom? I'm hiding. I'm doing things. Okay. It is doable if you want to do it, people. Sometimes life gets crazy. I've had those times. Kids are running you in many different directions: work, parents sick, your own health issues, and the list goes on and on. These are especially the times in which the business and the residual income becomes even more important. Could you leave a few minutes early and send some messages while you wait in the parking lot? Could you skip that cup of coffee in the morning with your friends at work and talk around the water cooler and spend that 5 minutes doing something instead, and peace and quiet? Could you make up posts to put up before you go to bed? Yeah, you could. That is exactly when you need to do those things. 2020 was an insane year for our family. We had the girls in and out of school. We were caring for my father-in-law. Sorry. Caring for my father-in-law. My husband nearly died. He became critically ill and septic. And we also went through the death of both my father-in-law and my father and having to take care of both of their estates. I had to retorn my shoulder cleaning out my dad's house as we prepared to sell it, and I had to step away from my job as a PT. I had minimal use of my right arm, and I was in constant pain as I tried to hold our family, myself, and our finances had health petty. It would have been easy. I could have taken up a lot of really bad habits, or I chose to use this opportunity to grow. In 2020, I ranked from emerald to sapphire in a short period. I chose to work hard to cast vision and help others grow. Since then, it hasn't all been roses. People have gone back to their quote unquote regular jobs, and many have lost the vision. Sorry. They've forgotten what it means to have multiple streams of income as they've gone back to punching the clock and back to their regular way of life. People are no longer getting checks for not going to work, and it has been a bit more of a challenge as people are no longer sitting at home and looking for something to do. But there are many that are looking for extra income. In the past several years, we have seen those extra checks for not working disappear. We have seen the cost of gas, groceries, and our regular jobs are no longer sufficient. The raises people are getting in their regular jobs no longer matches the rate of inflation and other things that are popping up. We've seen more people wanting to be home with their children and needing to replace prior incomes as they reprioritize their lives. This is where our resilience comes into play. It's easy to throw in the towel. It's easy to blame others, and it's easy to lose our way. We need to accept responsibility and shift. And as I look at all of you on this call, oops, I didn't record in speaker view. That happens. There we go. Hang on, let me pin me. Sorry, guys. Always a learning experience. But as I look at all the people on this call, I see many of you have gone through some of the same struggles and even worse struggles. Um, and you're still doing it. You're still showing up. You're still here. You may not be where you want to be, but you are working on it and you're going for it. And that's where this makes a difference. Looking to a fantastic leader, John Maxwell, he had this to say about when life isn't easy. If we want to succeed in life and learn from our losses, we must be able to face reality and use it to create a foundation for growth. That can be very difficult. People who face horrific experiences can be crushed by them, but even lesser losses can tempt us to avoid reality. We may blame other people for our circumstances. We may rationalize or make excuses. We may retreat into our own little world, like this man in one of my favorite quote unquote reality stories. He had been an insomniac for 30 years and he finally decided to see a psychiatrist. Why can't you sleep at night? The doctor asked. Because I'm trying to solve the world's problems, the man responded. The psychiatrist pressed further. Do you ever solve them? Almost every time, replied the patient earnestly. Then why can't you sleep? The psychiatrist asked. Well, doctor, I think those big ticker tape parades they have in my honor keep me up. Wow. So, as much as an escape from reality might give us temporary relief from our problems, the truth is it's easier to go from failure to success than it is from excuses to success. We lose sight of reality and we quickly lose our way. We can't create positive change in our lives if we are confused about what's really happening. You can't improve yourself if you're kidding yourself. These are three realities of life that every person needs to accept. One, life is difficult. Somehow people seem to believe that life is supposed to be easy. We expect a smooth, easy road to success. We expect our lives to be hassle-free. We expect to get the prize without having to pay the price. That's not reality. Life is hard. Have you ever seen a diamond whose life is all sunshine and rainbows? And there's a few of them on there. Your life hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows. Nope, sure hasn't. Life is difficult. If you're willing to concede that life is difficult for most people, deep down inside, many of us secretly hope somehow this truth won't apply to us. I'm sorry to say it isn't so. No one escapes life's problems, failures, and losses. If we are to make progress, we must do so through life's difficulties. Do you think your life is really that much more difficult than anyone else's? And this isn't a comparison game, it's just stopping and pausing and thinking for a minute. People lose jobs, family members, homes, physical functions, and so much more. Do they quit? No. Do they dig a hole and stay in it? No. I remember in 2020 sitting on a pull-out bed in my parents' home after my passed internet connection while helping others reach their goals and still getting it done despite the physical and mental pain, despite the fear of the unknown. And why? Why? Because I knew these products and this company had the potential to make a difference in the lives of so many people. The short term sacrifices were worth it. Number three, life is more difficult for some than others. Let's face it, life is more difficult for some people than it is for others. The playing field is not level. You may have more difficulties in life than I have. You may have faced fewer, and comparing our lives to others ultimately isn't really very productive. Life isn't fair, and we shouldn't expect it to be. Your life is probably plenty difficult already. The reality is that you will have to deal with those difficulties no matter what. One of the keys to winning is to not make things even harder for yourself, which is, unfortunately, what many people seem to do. To help you with this, next time I want to point out some big ways people make life harder for themselves and what we do to keep from doing the same. In the meantime, take some time today to assess yourself. How much do you accept the reality that life is difficult for everyone? In what areas do you struggle with fairness or the desire for everything to work out perfectly? What would change if you took the reality of your situation for what it is and began to come up with a plan to deal with it? Let's think about this for a few minutes. Do you accept the reality that life is difficult for everyone? It isn't sunshine and rainbows every day, but rain or shine, do you have a plan, goals, and objectives you are going to complete every day? Can you post a few posts? Can you reach out to a few people? Can you follow up with a few people? Can you read a few pages or listen to a podcast? Can you listen to a Diamond Doc or something for even 10 minutes a day? Out of 24 hours a day, can you honestly say that you don't have 30 minutes that you can dedicate to these activities that can lead to long-term growth? If not, why not? What are you doing with your time? Is your spouse not supportive? Have you not had a crucial conversation with your spouse, him or her, about the opportunity that this offers for people? Can you pull up some Diamond Docs? Can you hop on the phone with your sponsor? Are you registered or going to convention? Have you made this a priority or have you made it a hobby? What are you expecting for your efforts? Maybe you've had a few blows. Maybe some people have quit. Maybe you aren't quite where you want to be. Let me tell you, I get it. If any leader tells you they have never been in your shoes or feeling that way, I can say they're probably lying. We have all had people quit, say bad words, give up, and so many other things. It's sad and it hurts. And honestly, I hate it because I can see so much potential for people, but they don't have the power to destroy my vision, nor should you allow them to have that power to destroy yours. What can you do? Stop and look at your belief in the products. They work. The science is there. It's been proven over and over again. Pull in your sponsor, borrow their belief, stay consistent with your own routine. Change happens with consistency over time. Read testimonies in gut health, happiness, and beyond. Dig, grow. Look at your belief in the company. It's over 10 years old, debt free, science backed, legacy company in it for the long haul. Can you say the same about yourself? Ouch. We all struggle there, right? Myself included. We're not perfect, right? Back to the questions from Uncle John. In what areas do you struggle with fairness or the desire for everything to work out perfectly? Should you be farther than you are? Should you have the ideal house, family, business, whatever? Why do we feel we are entitled to these things? Why are we only given so much? We are given things at certain times and under certain circumstances. It isn't always fair, and honestly, it's crummy. And that's me using my nice words here, right? Why do we think our lives are to be perfect? How are we setting our expectations? What are our goals? What are we doing to reach these goals and expectations? Are we willing to put in the work? What are we doing to prepare our mindsets for the work we are doing, as well as the outcomes we are anticipating, as well as for expectation management? What would we get at any other job if we didn't show up consistently? If we didn't work well with our coworkers, or if we didn't do our continuing education? What would change if you took the reality of your situation for what it is and began to come up with a plan to deal with it? We cannot control everything in our lives. People quit. People may not be consistent. We have personal issues. We have health issues. Kids are fun and challenging and time consuming. Spouses may not always be supportive. Families may not always understand what we're doing. But what is our plan when we're faced with these challenges? Someone quits. Were they consistent? What were their expectations? Did I communicate well with them? What were their goals? How can I improve for next time? Consistency. What expectations were set out? Was there good communication? Personal or health issues. You guys, I've had a gazillion of these during this time. My shoulder, an appendix, girly issues. I'm still dealing with them. Lots of things, right? I can still message and communicate with people from the waiting room or while I'm recovering. I can also help connect people with my sponsor if I am truly unable to communicate. This is where part of that importance of three-way chats and plugging people into team calls is how people feel the love and the help from the community. Kids. All right, goodness. My kids have been running us crazy lately. Whether you have little ones or teens, we can be on the go all the time. We can still take 10 minutes here and there, whether our kids are playing with Play-Doh, reading a book, taking a nap. If you're somebody who lets your kids have a little screen time, I'm not advocating that. I just know it's a reality for some. Or while we sit in line waiting to pick up a kid from practice to get things done. One thing I have heard people concerned about is ignoring. You guys, we don't need to entertain our kids every single second of the day. It's important for them to have independent play and figure some of those things out for themselves. You watch them, you keep them safe, but they can do these things. It's okay. When your kids are sleeping, you can set up some messages and goals. You can have your children in a safe place or have your spouse with them and send a message. If it is important to you, you will get it done. Communicate with your spouse. You deserve a few minutes to be able to message, post, and do the things you want to do in order to feel good about what you're doing, helping others, and contributing to your family. Another question. What would change if you took the reality of your situation for what it is and began to come up with a plan to deal with it? You might have a harsh reality check for a minute, but then what are you going to do with that? Are you giving up too easily, or are you willing to work on a plan to deal with it? Have you asked for help, or have you thrown in the towel? Are you adopting this, or are you being resilient? Are you asking for help? This is where connecting to coaching, team calls, book studies, and team events are so important. They help refill our bucket, refill our fire, and get us moving. Are you participating in any of these, or are you stuck in your own way? We have team calls every Monday. We have book clubs every Thursday. If you're not connecting, why do you think your people would? And down the line, it continues down the line. Connect, invite your people who invite other people, and so on and so forth. This is how you get duplication and big team growth. Time. It's only about 1 hour out of a week for those two things. So out of 168 hours in 1 week, Is 1 hour too much to commit to growth? 1 hour each day for 7 days. That leaves you 161 hours in the week. Doesn't seem like a terrible commitment, does it? Could you do the posts, read the books, talk to people, and do the things consistently? They have this thing called Audible. You can listen to a lot of books while you're doing the things during the day. What if you connected your people to do that too? What if you took that time to grow? What if you took that time to help others grow? This is a little new. Are you willing to have the conversations with yourself first and then with others? Are you willing to be resilient? Are you where you want to be? Where could you be in the next 30 days? So this message, the next one, is the excerpt from the book, Life Coaching for Successful Women, Powerful Questions, Practical Answers by Valerie Burton, who we're blessed to have speak to us at convention a little bit back. Research shows that resilient people think differently. They have a set of skills, sometimes learned, sometimes innate, that allow them to persevere, manage stress, and triumph in the face of challenges. In the midst of your current challenges, which of the 5 traits of resilient people is it time to lean onto? 1, they are authentic. Resilient people are at peace with their humanity. Perhaps it's because they've made their mistakes along the way that have humbled them, or life experiences have, but resilient people don't let imperfections hinder them. They don't think failing makes them a failure. They learn as they go, making course corrections that lead them to positive outcomes. As a leader, your ability to navigate challenges and lead effectively in an uncertain environment can set you apart and positively influence those you're leading. Your team looks to you for clues about how to respond in these ever challenging times. Organizations that thrive with change are those who have high psychological capital, to see the big picture, embrace a new vision, and work together to persevere towards it. Number 2, they are flexible thinkers. Even if they initially struggle with negative thoughts, resilient people are self-aware enough to notice when their thinking is counterproductive. They don't jump to conclusions or make assumptions. Instead, they gather the facts that need to move around obstacles and face challenges head on. If something isn't working, they make adjustments. They find aspects of the challenge that are within their control and they exercise that control. Number 3, they're mostly optimistic. It's hard to bounce back from setbacks when you see every obstacle as the end of the world. Research shows that optimists live much longer as 9 years longer than pessimists. But it isn't just about positive thinking. Resilient people see risks and take precautions to prevent problems. When faced with a challenge, they are more likely to say, I can get through this. Number 4, they reach out. And this is where our team, our community, and convention is super important. Resilient people don't go it alone. They have close friends and are not too proud to ask for help when they need it. Talk out problems or help others in need. When faced with a stressful situation, just knowing you have support can alleviate the pressure. And lastly, number 5, they use their strengths. Everyone has innate talents and strengths. When faced with a challenge, into those, the things that come naturally to you. It takes less energy to use your strengths, and in fact, you are energized by them. Know what your strengths are and use them. Okay, friends, coach yourself. Of the 5 key resilient traits, which do you possess in abundance? What is an example of a time when you've used this trait? In your biggest challenge, how could you apply at least these resilience traits to alleviate some of your stress and better navigate the challenge? It doesn't matter where you ended today, last week, last month, or last year. Start now, get on book club, get on team call, get on coaching calls, do your doggone IPA, get some personal growth. You are resilient. You are responsible, even yourself, and others will too. See you guys in a couple of weeks at convention. Thank you.